Hello and welcome to Ketrick Farms. We're back with another episode of Campaign of France, and today we're going to start off by playing around with a new mod that I downloaded. We've got the broom. Now, this thing is quite a cool little mod. In theory, I believe it's going to allow us to clean up our animal pen areas here. We downloaded this mod off of the mod hub, and like all the mods on the game that we're playing here, they are available on the in-game mod hub. I think this mod works just by picking up the broom. We're going to be able to bring it through the zone here, and as it comes in contact with the feed here, I should have looked ahead of time, but it should just put that right back into the food trough here. So that's going to help out here with the chickens quite a bit. And then I believe if we just set it down, it's kind of going to stand up here on its own. It bothers me that it sits here and wiggles, so I'm going to turn it and have it lean against the fence. There we go. That looks a lot better to me. And if we come in here and check, we're still at 47% cleanliness, but I'm expecting that's going to get cleaned up here shortly. And so we're going to go ahead and push through the time and get into the next day and start working on our next job on the farm here. All right, we're into the next day and we've generated a little bit more grain on the ground here. So I thought this would be a great opportunity. Our cleanliness is still not quite where I'd like it to be, but our wheat barley is at 1648 liters here. So if we keep that number in mind and take our broom here and get everything all set up, let's see what that does to this number as we sweep it into the bin. There's even a cool sweeping noise, which I really appreciate here. And as you can see, we're up to 1677 here, and our cleanliness shot up where it should be. So I'm actually quite happy with that. We're actually a couple of chickens up here as well from going through overnight. I think we started at 45 total between the two. So chickens are going up. Our sheep, we gained a sheep. We started at 30 here, so we've got another sheep, and we're going to generate another sheep in less than a day. So we're cranking away here. If we look over here, we're starting to get some eggs piled up here. So we're going to have to figure out what to do with these eggs and sell those at some point. We've got a ways to go in the zone, so I'm not going to worry about that just yet. And I'd like to check in the shed here with the sheep. I don't recall, but yep, we are definitely starting to stack up with the wool pellets here. In fact, we've got more than half of our capacity is all filled up here. And so we're going to have to deal with that here at some point as well. But before we do that, we're going to top off the sheep feed here, the loose grass that we've got here in the loading wagon, and see if we can get this thing emptied out so that we can go deal with the straw that we've got over here on the other field. In a worst case scenario, I guess we could always just dump what's left on here on the ground. We do have just a little bit, and so I think that's what we're going to do. We've got the mess pile right here, though, that I'm going to clean up. I want to keep the sheep as productive as possible. So we're going to clean up where we're dumping the mess by the pen. And then I'm going to take this and dump it somewhere else. Got to make sure we're closing the pen. All right, this is going to seem bad, but we're going to go ahead and force dump that grass right here in a bit of a pile. We should be able to pick that back up later. And we're going to come up here and see what we can do to pick up all of the straw that we've got in this field so that we can get things tilled up and do our planting here. We've got we got to get some more wheat going here in one of these fields, as well as get some more grass going. We do have quite a bit, enough to keep our animals fed for a little while. But I want to make sure we get those production systems in place so that we can keep them going. I think as the animals start to ramp up here, we're going to be able to generate most of our profits from the combination of the contracts and selling the animal products. So I'm not too worried about making any money based on doing the arable farming in this series. I think really we're going to stay to these 3 fields. I think these 3 fields will be able to keep up with our animals even as they grow. So that's the plan, at least for the moment. but we could always pick up another field if we need to. The fields are definitely small enough. It's funny, for how small this equipment is, it's perfectly sized for the little operation we have here. This loading wagon is working out just awesome with this little tractor. We should have just enough capacity here to pick up this last run of straw. It looks like we're gonna be shy of 100%, just a smidge, but that's fine because I would have felt guilty if we were leaving a bunch of straw on the field here. And I wouldn't have wanted to make a whole nother run to go sell it, but this is gonna work out perfectly. So let's pick this up and head on into town and figure out where we can sell this straw. So I'm pretty sure the sell point is going to be the same as it was for the grass. We should be able to pull right in here and dump at the bale sell point. Now, I believe last time I probably backed into this, but we're going to try and pull into this. And now that I'm thinking about it, we didn't sell our grass. We kept all of our grass. So I'm here by dumb luck, it seems like. This is where we bought our animals. I'm pretty sure the sell trigger for the bales, though, is going to be that secondary one. And so we're just going to turn around here real quick, hoping none of the traffic comes by. Hey, Mr. Pedestrian, please, no. And we're just going to back in here, and I believe this says the sell trigger. There we go. So what's a load of straw going to net? Let's find out. Few $100s so far. Not too bad, not too bad. We might make $1,000 to $2,000 off of this, which at our current scale is not too shabby. There we go, almost $1,000. Not quite. I'll take it, I'll take it. So with the straw out of the way, let's jump back up to the farm here and get into putting our crops in the ground. Now, before we get into doing tillage and planting our crops, we're going to go ahead and pick up this grass that we dumped out because I don't want to leave the big piles sitting there. And then it'll all be handy and in this trailer here for when we need to feed the sheep next. So with that done, we're going to go ahead and park this probably right here underneath our silo roof. It'll be out of the way here, and we don't really have anything we're going to be putting in these silos for the time being. And so this will be a good spot under a roof to keep this thing for the moment. We do have other shed space. I could definitely squeeze this in somewhere, but this will work. So with that out of the way, before we can start seeding, we're going to need to bust out our cultivator here because our seeder is not a direct drill. So let's grab this guy here and head on out to the field. I think the first field that we're going to do is going to be this one back here that we custom plowed. This is going to be the one where we're going to plant our wheat. So I'm going to take the headland off on this end just to have one headland pass done over here to kind of smooth things out. Maybe I'll do one full round since we're kind of overlapping into the grass a bit here. We'll go all the way around the field once just to make sure everything's good to go. And I'm really hoping I should be able to use a base game worker on this field, I think, to help keep us on the straight and narrow here. We do have these trees on this end that we're going to want to stay out of as well. So taking a couple of passes off on this end is going to help us out a bit, I think, as well. Just looking at how the turn radius is on this thing, I think we're going to go for 4 whole passes. This is a very, very narrow implement here. I mean, we are coming in at a whopping 3 meters with this cultivator, so a couple extra passes is not gonna hurt when it comes to giving us the room to turn around here with this guy. I probably could have just had the worker go this way the whole time, but we're being extremely inefficient with how we're approaching this field, so we might as well just continue on with our inefficiencies and get this field done. And just like that, we have wrapped up all of the tillage on this first field. And so rather than start in right away on the second field, I want to switch things up and get the planter set up, or I guess I should say the seeder. And so we've got this little drill over here that we're going to be running on our rigid track here. So I'm going to drop this thing right here in the shed. And we're going to take the seeder up to the store with us because we don't have a great mechanism to bring back a pallet of seed right now. So I think this is going to be the easiest way to get this thing all filled up. Our seeder is only capable of planting with seed. It does not have any fertilizer capacity, and it only holds 600 liters here. So let's take a look. A big bag is 1,000 liters of seed, and a pallet is 2,100. So we definitely don't need a full pallet. We're going to go for the big bag of seed here, I think, and just grab one of these. Now, unfortunately, I forgot I have the store deliveries mod set up on this save to make my life a little bit easier when setting things up. And so I forgot to disable that. So we paid a little bit of a premium here to have the seed delivered to the farm. This is a mod that's available on the in-game mod hub, but it is not a mod that will be available for those of you playing on console. If you're on console, you will have to drive up to the store in order to pick up your seed, but this is a handy little mod that I use on a lot of my series. So we're gonna go ahead and take this and jump right on in to seeding this field here. Now, I did a little bit of looking around on the internet, and it does appear that barley yields a little bit higher here than the wheat. And since we're not gonna be selling this on the open market, we are using it simply for feed. Yield is yield, and so we're going to go ahead and plant barley in this field. And so I'm going to get this all set up here, and we're going to do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to put a couple of end rows in here with the seeder so that we've got plenty of room to turn around on this side of the trees. And we're going to get this barley planted here or seeded here real quick like. Luckily, this thing goes 9 miles per hour while we're seeding, so it shouldn't take us but a couple of moments here to get this job done as well. All right, so we are on the last round here of planting our barley. We did have some weeds pop up here. I forgot how base game weeds worked, and I don't know. I find it kind of annoying that it's like the whole field pops up all at once. And so we disabled that in the middle of planting. We're not going to be dealing with weeds in this season beyond what's already popped up. And so we kind of made that executive call here, given that we are trying to focus on more the animals and the achievements in this series. So we're going to go ahead and kind of keep going with this as is. We topped off the seeder. We didn't even use enough to get the rest of our seed into the seeder here. So we're going to be disconnecting that because we don't need it right now. The next job we will have to do is cultivate up our other field and get some grass growing over there. But we're going to save that for next episode, I believe. If we take a quick look at our animals, we're up to 48, 49 total chickens here. We'll probably just ignore the rooster and the count moving on. And we're still at 31 sheep. Everybody's looking healthy. We're using our food up, doing pretty good here. So we're going to have to figure out these eggs next time. I'm not sure quite how this works. I don't know that I've ever sold eggs in Farm Sim 19. So looking forward to diving into those mechanics next time. However, that's all for today. Kedrick out. So I believe this works as easy as picking it up and pushing through this area here. So I think if I just bring... Well, darn. Well, that was unexpected.